Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video. And in today's video, we got the data download for the new KIZUNA Clash Thank God, not Super. Sugo Fest that will be arriving on the 16th of September with a new Robin, Frankie, Nami, rare recruit for the Pirate Alliance Super Boss KIZUNA that is bringing a 5+ Shanks. Yes, the man on the left is the Giga Shanks from the movie, apparently. And, I'm getting him as a 5+ character. I don't know who sat in a boardroom and went, hey, let's make a Super Sugo Fest Shanks and not use this guy. But, look, we're here now and we move. We also have 2 new Super Evolutions. We're going to talk about them today as well. We have a Super Evolution of Super Type Sabo. The original, I can't stand that guy, is now a Psy unit, and that's pretty cool. And then Uta becomes a int-driven powerhouse. Yes, chat. Yes, I know. Yes, another int-driven powerhouse unit. Well, what a shock. So, like I said, in today's video, we're going to break all that down. We're going to take a look at the banner, which you guys see on screen now. There's also a support banner with a new Brook. There's lots of stuff to talk about today. So, with that said, like the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Like 60% of you guys, I see you guys. I see you guys not subbing, so do your boy a favor. So, let's take a look at this banner. Let's take a look at the recruitable characters. It is an 8-unit banner from what I can see. We have 5 rare recruits on the banner and 3 legends. Sabo's hiding up the back there. We have the Beast Pirates, we have Sanji and Pudding. Then we have this new Robin, we have a new Frankie, and we have a new Nami. So, first of all, we have Robin, who cares about what her captain ability does, right? She is a cerebral fighter Psy unit with recovery, blind, and enrage. Her support is just stats, so that sucks, but she reduces all enemies' HP by 10%, changes all orbs, including block slots to character's own type, reduces blind and despair by 5 turns, boosts Psy, cerebral, and fighter character slot effects by 2.25, and if the crew has a slot effect boost, when the special is launched, extends the duration of the crew slot effects by 1 turn. So, nothing too crazy. 2.25 times orbs is really, really nice. 5 turns of great utility, great orb manipulation, but that's pretty much all she does there. As a sailor, she makes strength orbs matching for Psy characters, which is kind of cool, and reduces her cooldown by 1 turn every other time someone else uses a special. So, obviously, if you use her with, like, Luffy, you're going to get her special back, like, pretty damn fast. So, that's kind of cool. Nothing too game-breaking for what she does. 13-turn cooldown. Pretty stock standard there for the archaeologist entering Battle Robin. Next we have Nami, and this Nami artwork, holy, she's a cerebral striker with pinch healing and slot bind. Her stat supports, which sucks. She removes 2 turns of barriers, let's go, 5 turns of damage reduction except for threshold, and then by 6 turns, and then sets defense to 0 for 1 turn and doubles damage to defense down for 1 turn. So she basically removes 2 defensive effects of defense down and damage reduction, as well as barriers, which is like technically 3 if you ask me, but obviously if you're immune to defense down and they have a defense up debuff, she's not going to get around that if they don't have barriers, which are pretty uncommon nowadays. But look, getting around barriers is very nice because not a lot of characters can do that. Be mindful, these are all Straw Hat characters. They can all work with the new Luffy. They're all going to give him his cooldowns and do all those shenanigans that he like loves to do. She's on a 13-turn cooldown as well, and she reduces her cooldown every time another character uses a special, and she makes Dex orbs have matching slot effects. I'm getting kind of a trend here with these particular characters. Next, we've got Frankie, the big dog shipwright entering battle. Frankie, he's a shooter-free spirit character with Fear and Barrier Pen. Very, very nice. Fear is actually kind of interesting, so I'd love to see what this guy does. He has stats as his support, which kind of sucks, and he's on a 3-turn special, which goes to 21 turns. So on his max, Psy, Shooter, and Free Spirit characters get 3 turns of special cooldown, which is kind of interesting. I kind of like that. Deals 250 times his attack and non-type damage to all enemies at the end of 2 turns. Reduces 5 turns of paralysis, burn, and special bind. So great at getting around resilience. Great cooldowns, which is great. But 21 turns, that's a long time. It's a very, very long time. On a 13-turn cooldown at level 2, which is a little bit nicer. He still does the same 5 turns of utility. He has the 2 turns end of turn damage still. It's a little bit less damage and he gives 2 turns of cooldown, which is nice. And then on a 7-turn cooldown, he gives 1 turn of cooldowns to your crewmates. He still does end of turn damage and he's 2 turns of bind, burn, and special bind, burn, and paralysis. I'm assuming he has special reverse by 3 turns, which is always nice. And then he has special bind by 3 turns as well. So any character that has fear and then is a special bind and special cooldown reducer is always going to see play somewhere. Look at stuff like King. Look at stuff like the Stampede Nami. Those types of characters are very, very good. As for the rest of the banner, you have the Beast Pirates. They're great for treasure map, but that's about it. Sanji and Pudding, they've completely dropped off the planet. Even though they are still a good unit, they've completely dropped off. This guy, obviously getting his 6+, which we'll talk about in a second, is quite good. And then you have Inazuma, You have Perispero, and they're literally just here to fill out the banner. So that's the new characters. Looking at the steps, most players should not go past the 5th multi. Even if you're like sort of like a Giga Wow, because like these characters, whilst they're good for the said KIZUNA, the super boss that's coming up, that's pretty much all you like. That's pretty much what you're going to use them. Like, the words are hard. You're pretty much not going to use them anywhere else. And whilst they are good for the new Luffy, you can pick them up on other KIZUNA banners moving forward. So going past the 5th multi is a little bit of a yikes. But look, I've been there. I've done it myself. So like, I mean, I'm calling the kettle black a little bit. But hey, we do that over here. You know that. So first multi is 30 gems. Second multi is a rate boosted or Sugo Fest. Third poster is a recommended character. So you have a 1 in 8, what you see there. So a 1 in 8 chance to get Robin, 1 in 8 chance to get Nami, 1 in 8 chance to get Frankie. Most of the time, you'll either pick up like one of those 3, or then one of the 2 cheeky units in the back, either Inuyasuma or Perispero. So hopefully you guys get lucky if you go to the 3rd multi. And then on the 4th, you get a Sugo, and the 5th, you get a new character. As for the rest of the steps, you don't get another new character until, so you get a recommended character on the 10th, a new character, a recommended character on the 15th, and then a new character on the 20th. So after the 5th step, like as you can see, the steps are not that great, so I would highly recommend skipping this banner and focusing on the Super Sugos, whether it be Uta, Shanks, or Luffy. I would highly recommend summoning on Uta. Even with her 6+, like, she's the most valuable unit. She has 2 variations now, so having 2 copies is always going to be nice as well. So that's the KIZUNA banner. Nothing too flash, nothing too crazy, but most people will be looking at this particular banner right here. Now, when it comes to Super Boss KIZUNA, most of the time, the support is the most valuable unit. Whilst these characters are going to be boosted, they give you more tickets, they are higher captain abilities, which is great. This particular Brook right here is going to be the most valuable unit when it comes to the super boss fights, as his support basically deals with the final step. Now, as for the banner structure, I do highly recommend every player doing the 30 gem multi. You get a support rare recruit exclusive character. It can be any support rare recruit in the game, and you have 10 chances of pulling another one, which is very, very good. If you can spare it, do the recommended step, especially because the recommended characters on this particular banner are very, very good. Not only do you have the new Brook, but you have this unit right here, which is easily my most used support. Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week give 2 turns of cooldowns to Driven and to Driven and Free Spirit characters on Battle 3. And then halves damage for 3 turns. They're amazing for Grand Voyage. They're just an amazing support that can go on a variety of different characters. So make sure to pick them up, or try and pick them up if you can. But let's talk about Brook. He is the newest support character. As for his special, who cares? As for his captain ability, we really do not care. He's on a 9-turn cooldown. I couldn't care less, and he's a Free Spirit Slasher. Could not give rat's ass. All I came for is this. He goes on any of the Straw Hat characters, which is interesting. But once per quest, if the supported character uses a special to boost base attack, reduces crew's attack down by 3 turns, and then boosts the chain multiplier by 1.1 for 1 turn. Now, the 1.1 chain multiplier is absolutely huge, and the 3 turns of attack down utility is awesome. However, there's not a lot of characters that give you a base stat boost right here. You have, like, Level Limit Break 5 Sanji, you have Stampede Luffy, Final Tap Luffy, Robin and Jinbei, Usopp and Yasop, I think, is probably going to be the most valuable for, like, moving forward. That's pretty much the only characters I can think of. I'm sure there's more, and shout out to the boys in the Discord. They did put together a list. But this support is so restrictive, and I have no idea why they just didn't do Psy Free Spirits, or it has to be a Psy Free Spirit or Slasher, or something like that. So that way it can just work on any Luffy. It can work on, like, any Shanks. Like, it's a bit of a head scratcher. But it will see play moving forward. Like, 100% it will. Because if more characters start getting base stat boosts, like Usopp and Yasop are the big ones that I can think of. But as for, like, this support, like, it's not exactly desired. And if you are, like, a big old whale that does normally try and get this support, I would probably wait for the Super Boss KIZUNA to come out before you dive into that. Because you may or may not need him, right? Talking about Super Boss KIZUNA, this man is getting his 6+. The original, I can't stand that guy, is getting his 6+, and he's actually becoming a Psy character. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of this artwork. I love the crazy Sabo look. He's a free spirit fighter with a super type changing to Psy, and they did buff his super type to more units. It used to be like Luffy, Rebecca, Koala, and Ace. Now they've added Ivankov, Inuyasuma, Lindbergh, Bello Betty, Karasu, Morley, and Kuma, which is really interesting. His super type applies Ignite to all enemies. That is like the preemptive, but it does not go through full immunity. He then adds 150 times character's attack in non-type damage to tap timing bonuses, and increases the chain multiplier by 1.25, turning Psys into Super Psy. So, obviously the big change to this unit is he's now a Psy character, and this particular buff right here is just him at his 6+. I don't think this is his level limit break, which we should get later, but this is what I can see, this is just his 6+. So, on an 18-turn cooldown though, which is incredibly high, he reduces enemies' HP by 20%, gives color affinity by 2.25 to Psy and Strength units, making it easy to land perfects, and if you land 3 perfect strikes in the turn, boost the type effects of normal attacks for Psy and Strength by 2.5 in the next turn, and then boost the chain multiplier by 1.3 for 1 turn after 1 turn. So he always gave the perfect buff, he always gave the clock buff, they've increased the chain boost, and they've just increased the multipliers, and also added the Psy tag, because he's now a Psy unit. His captain ability boosts still Strength units, which is kind of cool, but does the same thing with the chain multiplier growth rate of 1.5, Psy and Strength characters by 4.25, boosts crew's HP by 1.25, and makes Strength, Psy, Recovery, and Tandem orbs have matching slot effects, and heals the crew by 1 times the character's recovery for every perfect at the end of the turn. So, basically, the multiplier is really good. Was it the other way around? I don't think it was, but, like, it's nice that he still has Strength, because you can kind of, like, chop and change a little bit. But it's very interesting that for the Film Red celebration, they didn't give us any red characters or strength characters. They literally took away strength characters, which is super, super interesting for me. So, very interested to see what this guy looks like when we get his level limit break plus, because, like, I am super ready for this guy. As mine's level 150, I can get another one to level 150 for crying out loud. The next character we're going to talk about is Uta 6+. Yes, Uta is getting her 6+, and I don't think it's like what anyone expected, mainly because if you haven't seen the movie, like myself, you have no idea what the hell you're looking at. What the hell is this thing? Uta, the demon king of the Uta world. What the hell am I looking at? It's like old Creamy had like a Big Mom wedding cake rage fit and went absolutely AWOL and became whatever the fuck this thing is. It's wild, man. It's actually wild. So her support doesn't change, but it goes on to int-driven characters and becomes a driven booster. And as you can see, she becomes a driven powerhouse int character. Yep, chat, you bet it. You betted it. Berayate came out and they said, hey, let's give us another driven powerhouse fucking int unit. Hey, that's fucking good. All the memes, all the jokes that we made about this happening actually came true, and it's actually so funny. It's super funny. She's a super class unit for driven. So that's interesting. And she literally does the exact same thing as what Uta did. However, she adds 0.25 to orbs and color affinity, not attack and orb boost. And changes the top row and bottom row character slots to own type, which is a little bit of an extra addition, but super interesting why the hell she does that. So, you'll understand why it changed to color affinity and orbs when we read her special, but her captain ability reduces her own cooldown by 4 turns at the start of the quest, boosts int-driven and powerhouse characters by 5.25, HP by 1.3, and when you use her special, she gives, for 3 turns, int-driven powerhouse characters attack by 5.5, HP by 1.3, and if there's only one enemy at the start of the crew's attack, or moving between battles, reduces damage taken by 40%. Now, I'm not 100% sure how this exactly works, but when we read her special, I would love to know if this actually affects her special. I don't think it will, because it's like a fixed HP cut, and you could probably say, Stump, you're being stupid in the comment section below. If you'd like to, if you're a math wizard, like I know some of you are, but this doesn't scream at me. Like, I much prefer the regular Uta. The Striker and Cerebral class combination is way more enticing for me than Driven Powerhouse, because we just had so many Driven Powerhouse characters in this game, like so many. Her final tap as well, by the way, literally stays exactly the same, so that's something to note as well. But the big reason we're here is her special, right? She always had a very unique special that made her up there in the top 5 best characters in the game because of her special, and let's see if it stays that way. Applies turn progression activation effect on the crew, and applies the following effects. When the special is launched, boosts driven powerhouse characters' orbs by 2.5 and their color affinity by 2.25 at the start of the second turn, just like the regular Uta did. After launching the special, it's a 2.75 orb boost and a 2.5 times color affinity boost for driven and powerhouse units. At the start of the third turn after launching the special, it's a 3 times orb boost to powerhouse driven and a 2.75 times color affinity buff. During the duration of the special effect, reduces crew's HP by 70% at the start of the turn. If crew's HP is below 70% of the maximum HP at the start of the turn, removes the effect of the special and applies blind on the character for 5 turns. The hell does that mean? Alright, we'll come... Let me digest that for a second. We'll come back to that. If the effect of the special... Like, what the hell is that? If the effect of the special is removed by the enemy before the full duration, boost driven and powerhouse characters' orbs by 2.75, color affinity by 2.5 for 1 turn, and if the crew applies the same special effect while this special is active, this is a mouthful, reduces the crew's HP reduction by effect to 30%, lowers the effect removal threshold to 30%, okay, of the maximum HP, and if the crew has a turn progression activation effect when the special is launched, extends the attack buff of the crew by 2 turns, locks the slots for 2 turns, and boosts the chain multiplier by 1.4 for 3 turns. Holy shit, that is a mouthful. So basically, she does exactly what Uta did with the progression, but for driven and powerhouse units, and for orbs and color affinity, not attack and orb boost. So very interesting that they changed that. But when you activate her special, she reduces the crew's HP by 70% at the start of the turn. If the crew's HP is below 70% of the maximum HP at the start of the turn, removes the effect of the special and applies bind on the character for 5 turns. If the special effect is removed by the enemy before the full duration, boosts driven powerhouse characters' orbs. So it seems like what you want to do is activate Uta, and then you'll get this 2.5 orb and 2.25 color affinity. The HP cut doesn't activate till the start of the turn. So that's going to activate when you move into the next turn from what I can read. So ideally you want the enemy to literally wipe away this buff, so then you can get this 2.75 and 2.5 times color affinity, like if it gets blown away before the full duration. Or what you actually want to do is you want to activate the other Uta special in the same turn to reduce the effect to 30%, so you stay above that 70% threshold, and then lower the effect removal threshold to 30% of the maximum HP. So that way it goes down to 30%, and then it's like 30% of the maximum HP, and then you get the lock slots and that. So it's very interesting how I just don't ever see you getting to the 3rd turn of this. Unless it means, like, you activate the special, you go into the next turn, you get the next special, and then the HP cut activates on the 3rd turn, so you use the second Uta on the 2nd turn. It's going to be very interesting to see how this exactly works, but I don't like this. It's very finicky. There's a lot going on, and just trying to wrap my head around what the hell's going on. Like, once we figure it out, I'm sure it'll be better, but just trying to figure out what the hell is going on right now is going to be very, very interesting. But immediately, when I see this unit, I think of, like, T&D Blackbeard, because he's an attack booster with his super tandem ability, and he's like a powerhouse superclass, so like you can make this girl like pop off. So that's going to be super interesting, because it's super weird that she does like a carryover of an attack boost by 2 turns, but doesn't actually give an attack boost, and she loses that orb manipulation that she had. Still has the chain boost, which is nice, and locking the slots, which is great, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this HP reduction effect works. Do I like this 6+? Not really. I think the regular Uta is much better. The art looks way better, obviously. And the Cerebral Striker tag is just infinitely better in my opinion. So that's 6+ Uta. If you got 2 copies, like, awesome. But if you don't, I do understand. And hopefully you guys can pick up a lot of skulls to just continuously chop and change between these units. As I feel like having an int superclass cerebral unit is way more beneficial than having another int superclass driven unit like we have kids. So look, it is what it is. And the last thing to talk about is this man right here, our KIZUNA free-to-play unit that will be coming for the super boss after, I think, maybe September 18th roughly. So this is the 5-star Shanks Clash KIZUNA Clash unit. This is his info here. He's a cerebral free spirit character. We don't have everything just yet. However, we do have a lot of translations that when this actually dropped, I was in chat with the good old GOAT Captain Papi with the translation, so I appreciate you. But we have got the translations for the 5-star here. So as a captain, he boosts Psi character's attack by approximately 4 times when slots match, and boosts the chance of landing on Psi tandem slots, and the higher the HP makes Psi and characters tandem slots have matching slot effects. So he's obviously just basically built around what V1 Shanks was. But now has tandem in his kit, and then there's a 4 times tap boost. Like, he's literally just literally what V1 Shanks was. His special reduces Crew's paralysis by 5 turns, and with his 5+, this goes up to 6 turns, and then it reduces all resilience and damage threshold by 5 turns. Again, this goes up to 6 turns with his 5+, and then sets the chain multiplier's minimum value at 2.5 and maxing at 6 times. Now, at his 5+, this will go up to 2.75 and maxing at 8, which is actually very, very good. However, I don't understand why they gave him resilience. With Roger coming out, Roger removes, I'm pretty sure he removes defense up and resilience. And he has double special activation, so I don't understand why they gave Shanks resilience. Threshold and damage reduction would have been a really good combination for this guy. And then the paralysis is kind of just a nice touch, but I don't really understand why it's there. He has a super tandem, which is really, really cool. I did predict that this was going to happen. However, it's not exactly what I would love it to be. With any 2 of the following characters on the crew, Monkey D. Luffy, Ben Beckman, Lucky Root, Yasop, Rockstar, Uta, he'll apply an attack boost of 1.5 to Sai characters for 1 turn. Now, looking at this list, obviously the new Luffy is very, very good here. And then the rest of the units, you don't really have too many options. Like, Uta has, 3 units in the game, technically, which is no Sai units. Rockstar does, which is great. Yasop does. And then Lucky Root and Ben Beckman don't. So unless you have Yasop and Usopp, the rare recruit Rockstar, or the new Luffy, or you're running some other Sai Luffy, you're not really going to see this too much, unfortunately. However, as a sub for the new Super Sugo Luffy, this guy is going to be absolutely awesome because he gives a chain boundary effect. And they're sort of like far in between. Plus, he's the Shanks unit, obviously, so he can trigger all of those Luffy's, nice Luffy shenanigans. And then Luffy has his final tap ability. So, it's nice for a free-to-play character. I would have loved to have seen this be 2 times. Or if it's going to stay at 1.5, have 1 of the following characters. But like I said, Rockstar has a very good side character. Yasop and Usopp are very, very good. And then Monkey D. Luffy, he's exceptional as well. So, he's Shanks' support, when the supporter character uses a special, he boosts the supporter character's base attack by 1.25 until the next phase, which is actually really, really good. Going on any Ben Beckman, Lucky Root, Yasop, and Uta character. So that support is actually really, really crazy, because it's something like Super Type Sabo, where it actually just goes into the multipliers. It doesn't give you a buff or anything like that. He's Pirate Rumble. We don't really care about that too much, but I guess we can have a look at it. We don't have all this guy's information, but this is his 5+ artwork right here. Looking absolutely clean as hell, and I don't understand why this guy wasn't the Super Sugo. Why was this guy not the Super Sugo? It makes no goddamn sense. But look, it is what it is. So, there you guys go. That is pretty much all the information that we have for this next part of the KIZUNA celebration, or the final part of the Film Red celebration. So, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let me know if you'll be summoning in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the 6+ Sabo, the 6+ Uta, the new Shanks. Let me know all of it. Let it be heard in the comment section below. And don't forget to belt the like button for me. If you are new to the channel, or you haven't done so already, 60% of you guys, hit that big sub button for me. Most importantly, though, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Late!